Welcome everyone to all the members of the community. Today I'm super happy to have Jon. I wanted to talk to you for a while now, so I'm excited to have you on here. And
Great to be here.
Yeah, Jon is the CEO and one of the co-founders of Akkio, one of the leader no-code AI platforms. So yeah, very nice to have you on. How are you doing?
I'm well. Technically, I'm the COO. Not that needs a
CEO,
specific correction,
okay.
but our CEO is the technical architect of the platform, and he's written the
Awesome.
ML engine and stuff. He's a brilliant guy. But yeah, I'm one of the co-founders. I lead the product team, marketing, customer support, pretty much you name it. Lots of hats. Doing well and happy to be here.
Yeah, I always like to start these discussions and chats with what is your background and a little bit what is the story that made you found this company? Why did you think it was a great opportunity and you jump on it?
My deep background is I was an electrical engineer like way back in the day, but I went through some consumer companies, Sony, and then I spent a long time at Sonos, the wireless audio company.
Mm-hmm.
I was mostly in product management by that point. So sort of defining the right products to bring to market, the value proposition for users. And I realized as I moved from Sony, which was a huge company when I joined it out of school to Sonos, which was very small when I joined it, that I really loved that startup environment, like the small company, like there's not a lot of politics. You're just trying to build really cool stuff for end users. You get a really tight feedback loop. If you can like wow somebody or make them very happy, that's like very rewarding for me. And you like also have this like sort of call it like a little bit of terror about like, you've got to like build something meaningful or maybe you don't have a job anymore. And it's like really engaging, right? And it helps make me like excited every day to like try and push the ball forward. And so after Sonos, I went to work at a 3D printing startup. Even earlier, I just knew I wanted to go earlier and earlier. And there I met Abe, who's my co-founder at Akkio, and we built that company for a while. And in the process, we found a lot of places where we wanted to be able to leverage data to make decisions in the business. Sort of in the long tail of business operations, like marketing, for example. But we really didn't have any tools that would let someone who's, not a software engineer and also like comfortable in Excel, like working with data, really start to surface, to leverage machine learning to look at the patterns in your data, see what's driving your outcomes, but also like use that in, automations of your business workflows. Because that's, really just like looking at all of the like places where we really could have found value from machine learning, but didn't have a tool that was easy enough to use. That was the genesis of Akkio. And, everything we've built so far is entirely around solving that problem for like the majority of users in a business. Our goal would be if you can use Excel, you can use machine learning.
Yeah. So when did you found the company? How long ago?
It's been about 3 years now. So, we've been at it for a while and there's a lot of complexity in the product to build, because in the machine learning tooling space, like when we started the company and largely still to today, there are a lot of reasonably technical tools that are focused at data scientists. And often they bite off like a single slice of the ML pipeline, like, data prep or ML modeling or model operations. And those are great and very powerful. But if you're going to enable an analyst or an end business user, a subject matter expert with machine learning, you almost have to build all of that into a single product. So, we have to go from your data wherever it lives into data prep, into analysis, into modeling, all the way through model operations. So that's what we've been hard at for almost 3 years now.
Very cool. And I remember I learned about you when you announced your product on Product Hunt, and you were like #1 product of the day, and I think it was like on the top 10 of the week. So that was like a big splash, and you got confirmation from the community that people really wanted this. It was like it's a big pain point, and now the whole no-code AI movement, like the whole no code movement is exploded already, and the no code AI movement is just accelerating as well. So one question about
I think it's really interesting. Oh, go ahead.
Sorry, go ahead.
Go ahead.
No worries. Go ahead, John.
I was going to say it's interesting. There's a lot of builders who are leveraging no code to start their own companies now, and the catch with AI in that space, and particularly machine learning when applied to data, is you have to have some data to leverage to start, and so it's been interesting with the sort of no code builder community because there's a wide range of like applications, and we have people doing like crypto predictions or stock predictions or horse racing and stuff like that. But the real challenge for a lot of those folks is not putting the pieces together to make a product or to make the ML like models. It's getting the data with the patterns in it that you're going to leverage for the business. So that's where it gets kind of interesting, where the rubber really hits the road.
And can you share a little bit about your product? What are the core capabilities that you have? I think you made it clear you're targeting like the non-technical, more business users, right? You're giving them machine learning tools so they can provide big value on their business use cases right away. But what are if you can walk us through very quickly through the main capabilities, and if you can also do a demo, that would be also amazing.
Yeah, probably a demo is going to be the easiest way to accomplish that. So how about I just build an ML model live right now in about 5 or 10 minutes, and I'll walk you through how we do it and what we learn, and we'll take it from there. Let me share a tab really quickly. Okay, so this is the Akkio platform. We're an open platform, so anyone out there who wants to try this out can just pop into Akkio.com and hit free trial and set up an account. Effectively what we're going to do here is build a model from scratch end to end. So I just click create new flow. A flow is an end-to-end ML model. We'll just make one that's like lead scoring for this example. And it starts with connecting data. Akkio is able to connect to some data integrations. So if you have like Snowflake or BigQuery or CRM like HubSpot or Salesforce or even Google Sheets, we can read data in. I'm just going to use a table, and I'll upload a data set of historic leads and whether or not they subscribe to a banking service. This is kind of a reference demo set in the space, and I'll show you how we do it. All right, cool. So right away, we can see we have a data set of about 41,000 rows. And what we have here is a bank who had a bunch of customers they marketed a new service to, and about 11.5% of them ended up subscribing to the service. And the job for this ML model would be to understand the patterns in the banking information and the demographics of customers that are relative or predictive of their likelihood to subscribe. And then we'll deploy that model and call some real-time inference against it. Okay. You can see automatically in the platform, we detect the type of information in each one of your columns and give you a little bit of a preview about it. So you can see, about 25% of the people in here have an admin style job, blue collar technicians. This is then a category because it names the type of role that they have. We'll also take in text, numbers, dates, IDs, although we don't use them in the modeling. And you can do some data preparation steps too, but just to keep this like short and sweet, I'll train a model. We do 3 main types of modeling. Classification, which would be predicting a category, which we have here because we're trying to figure out like yes or no on a subscription column, which is categorical. We do numerical predictions. Those models are called regression models. And we'll also do time series models. So you can generate a forecast given some time history. And we can take a look at that too later if there's some interest. But because this is a classification, it's as easy as clicking predict, and you just select the outcome of interest, the thing that you're trying to find the patterns relative to. In that case, that's this variable subscribed, and you hit create predictive model. It's that easy. In the background, we're now doing all of the data science for you. So we're encoding each one of the columns with the proper encoder based on the type of information in it. We do a random 80-20 split. It's pretty standard in data science. And we bootstrap a model using neural architecture search to find the best performing model architecture for this particular set of data. I think we look at 20 different model types in this process, and we built our own AutoML engine here because we wanted it to be very fast and performant because people don't like waiting around for results. So we bootstrap on the 80% of the data, and then we take the remaining 20% and we run it against the model to see how it performs, but also to generate a bunch of insights about the patterns in your data and how they're driving the outcome. While we wait for this to finish, and it should take less than 50 seconds here, do you have any questions?
First of all, it's impressive. The user experience is very, very clean and very clear. I tried your product, so I know how good it is. There are different AutoML technologies out there, and you would say also competitors. What's the biggest differentiator other than speed? That was really quick. I don't know how big was this data set, but
it was about 41,000 rows. So it's not huge, but we've done some benchmarking against some of the larger AutoML vendors, and we're about 60 times faster than they are with equivalent or better performance.
Very cool. So that's part of one of the secret sauce components. What else you have in here?
Yeah. So what's really important to the non-data scientist user is understanding what's going on in the data and the patterns so that they can build some trust with the model. And that's this insight report that we'll take a look at now. Obviously, like when you predict against the 20% that you didn't look at, you get an accuracy score. And in this case, this really fast model we trained has a 90.6% accuracy. But that's like a little bit misleading in this like rare case model, because if you remember back at the table step, only 11% of people in the sample ended up subscribing to the service. And so if the model just guessed no every time, it'd be right 89% of the time. Yeah. So what's really important is like when it thinks a record will be a yes, how much more dense is that class than it is in the base model? So remember, like in the withheld data set, about 11.3% of people were subscribers. If the model thinks you're going to subscribe, though, 61% of the time, you actually were a subscriber. And so that model densification is really where the leverage of the model comes into play, especially in a business application. If you want the sort of details around your accuracy, true and false positives, true and false negatives, your F1 score, or even like the model type that we picked and the loss graph, you can drill down and see those bits of information. But a lot of the times you can kind of tell what's going on really easily just with this top of the line statistic. And then the next thing we do is we surface each one of the fields in that model and how much it contributes to a field is like a column, right? How much it contributes to the predictive power of the model and in which ways. So let's look at this one, duration. If duration is low, it's associated with a negative probability of a yes outcome. And if duration is high, it's associated with a positive probability of a yes outcome. Turns out for this data set, duration is how long you spent on the phone talking about the product. So you probably want to remove that from your analysis. So you just pop over here to ignore, you'd click on duration, and we retrain the model. And we get a model that ignores duration completely, right? And that's part of the process that we wanted to make fast and iterative, because a lot of times when you put data in, you're going to include some data that happens after your intended prediction target in time. But as you can see, we'll go value by value and show you how it's like related to your outcome. We'll even show you that on a factor by factor basis. So for example, for longer durations, and this is the total distribution of duration, 31% of that group ended up being yeses, and 54% of the yes records had a longer duration factor associated with them. That factor occurs in about 20% of the data. We also automatically make segments along that outcome. So this is a group of folks, you could think of them almost like a persona, that are much more likely to be yeses. And they're about 7.3 times more likely to have a Euribor 3M of 0.702. I don't know what some of this banking information is. They're about 7 times more likely to have this value of constant price index. And over here we have people who never end up subscribing, and they're about twice as likely to have this Euribor 3M value or this campaign associated with them. And so, we surface all the patterns that are in that data relative to the outcome. And then we have this really cool tool we call the decision threshold graph, because when the model makes a prediction, it doesn't just predict yes or no. It has a confidence, like it's 50% likely to be a yes or 80% likely to be a yes. And you can actually drag these decision threshold sliders to a place where they make sense for your business. So, if we were going to use this model in the bank to do marketing or to do follow-up calls or call people in a new set of databases where we had the same demographics and the same banking info about them, we might set the threshold such that we would call these ones on the right first, these ones in the middle, they would convert, at a 67% rate. So more than 1 out of 2 of those phone calls would be a success. If we then had extra time, we could call the ones in the middle that are less certain, between a model confidence of 47 and 1%, and those convert about the same as the base rate. And we could just ignore everything to the left, anything under 1% probability of being a yes, 99.6% of the time is a no. So that's a ton of business leverage you can gain right there. And once we have the model and we're confident in it, just to bring it across the finish line, you can deploy it and run inference in real time. You can push the predictions back into your data pipelines. Or it's as simple as we'll just deploy a web endpoint for the model. And I believe I can, I will maybe need to stop sharing and share this new tab really quickly. But with just a couple of clicks, I've now deployed that model live in the cloud, and we can call predictions against that model by filling in some values in here, and we'll make up some duration number and hit predict, and we'll run inference against the model. And of course, you could use this live in a business process, or you could bulk predict against this, or you could make this an iframe and put it on a website. It's pretty much incredibly flexible. We have integrations with Zapier, so you can build ML decision making into any workflow that you're building. And we have an API, like everything you're watching in the interface is actually leveraging the API. So in fact, you can basically stand up a ML decision at any point in one of your workflows quite easily. And we've had people build us into all sorts of things. Okay, I'm going to stop sharing and we'll take it back to answering questions. So that's the workflow we built. I hope you can see, we're really focused on ease of use and simplicity and making it so that people can understand what's happening with their data and then leverage that in their decision making.
Yeah, Jon, I think that demo was completely amazing. The user interface, I think it's super clear. I'm very impressed by the model reports because you can train models all day long, and there are several tools. And I think it's first of all the speed. You just didn't take some open source and build a user interface on top of it. You created your own engine, and you can see that is executing faster and is doing some extra magic that you don't see out there. And then it provides.
Believe me, when we started, we were hopeful that we could. We hoped at the beginning that it would be possible to use a third-party AutoML engine, but it's not fast enough. It doesn't surface statistics. We figured out very quickly, if we want this to be right, we're going to have to build the under-the-hood engine ourselves. And so obviously that has taken a lot of effort, but hopefully we're pushing the ball forward in terms of ease of use and therefore expanding the number of people who can take advantage of it.
Absolutely, it really paid off, and then you can see you can surface a lot of very good insights to evaluate models and how those metrics relate to your business use case. I really like that last chart that you showed, where usually you have like a prediction and the confidence, but there you had like a chart where you can really relate it to your use case and make decisions if a prediction is likely or not likely to have an impact for your particular use case. And then I'm very obsessed with like model deployment and putting models into production, because again, you can build models, but if you don't deploy them, you don't get any benefit. And yeah, you can create APIs, but I really like that feature where you can create a web app right away that you can even embed it on an iframe or whatever. But then you have all these integrations with Zapier that makes Akkio kind of like one of the ultimate no-code AI platforms in the market, where you, through Zapier, then you can have like a whole set of integrations and power ML in any no-code application out there. So very, very impressive.
Yeah, we've had a lot of people build like ML decision points into their workflows where they have a workflow in mind, but you need to make an intelligent decision in the middle of it based on new data you've never seen before. That's a perfect place for machine learning. Unfortunately, like most tools make it really hard to like put that in that decision place. But hopefully we make it pretty easy, and we're working to make it easier every day.
One question about your users. What do they love about Akkio? What is their favorite feature?
It depends. Like we're a platform, so like we get a lot of different feedback, like up and down the stack. I think a lot of people like how open and accessible we are. So you don't have to talk to us to try the product out. There's some very affordable like entry level tiers where you can we don't charge you to train models, so we make it really easy to learn. I hope I'm not satisfied yet. I don't think if you're building things to be easy to use, you can never be satisfied. But they like sort of the approachability and the explainability and the usability, as well as like sort of the ways we're sort of transparent and in pricing and use. I think all kind of add up to a nice experience. We're trying to make that like as good as we can. And we have users say things like they've tried many of the platforms in the market, and we just knock it out of the park comparatively. And that makes us feel good. That's what we're building for. There's just a bunch of like places where that shines through, be it like making it really easy and fast to make a model, to being able to like stand up a workflow with a Google sheet that fills in a prediction for you that you use in another platform. It's just pretty broad range of applications, and we have a lot of businesses leveraging us too. Everything from insurance to logistics to law firms parsing text. Just a broad range of applications. But ease of use does tend to be the thing that most people comment on.
Yeah, I'm sure you get a lot of feedback because you're not just building a tool, you're building a platform with end-to-end capabilities. So I'm sure you're getting feedback from data connectivity, data preparation, model building, explainability, model deployment, all over. But you cover that end-to-end workflow very well. Some feedback that we've got from the community is there are some users that tried your platform and I think they're even customers. And they are very impressed with the customer service. Like when they had like a question or something, you guys were very approachable and very easygoing and fast replying, not just sending emails and never coming back.
Well, the honest truth on that one is that I run the back of the chat window, and anyone who asks gets dropped into a Slack directly with me. So I'm the one answering the questions behind the curtain, so to speak. Like aligned with everything else. If someone gets stuck, that's an indication to me that we haven't built the product well enough yet. And so I take it somewhat personally as, this isn't like a user who's not smart. I haven't done my job to make this product easy enough to understand. So, it's pretty easy to say, wow, I'm sorry that you're having this issue. I understand why you're having this issue, and then go back and sit down with the team and say, look, people are struggling to understand this part of the product. What can let's talk about what we could do differently or better here. One, so that less people have to ask me for help, but also two, because it'll just be nicer and better. And the same thing goes with like data sets. I mean, we've had thousands and thousands of users through the platform. We've got like classes of like 1,200 students in Europe who take a spin through the product as part of their MBA, and everyone throws like different data structures or different data sets with different encoding on dates in there. And every time it fails, we've got to go figure out why and like fix it. And so if you adopt that policy of like being open and then solving problems as they occur, you just get better and better. And the map of like, it's just going to work gets broader and broader over time. And so that's how you get there. Like it's an iterative process of just like, walking across like every issue and like, it's just like hot coals, but you got to think like, what could I do to make this better, or improve it? And if you keep stacking those up, I'm a firm believer that over time, like 1,000 small improvements adds up. So there's nothing, that doesn't annoy me about the platform because it's bothersome, and we try and polish it as best we can.
I think the hardest thing is to make something complex very simple, and I think that you are on that journey right now. Yeah. Machine learning, you're making it very simple and approachable. And also, I really like the content on your website. You have like very good machine learning guide that is walking through algorithms and the basics of machine learning. So you're also educating users on, because you can just click, get a model, but then you need to do some evaluation before you put your business use case in hands of a machine learning model. So you're providing all that very cool content as well to complement the platform. Jon, can you give us a little bit of an idea what's next for Akkio, other than just getting more users, more business, continue simplifying, but I see more use cases popping up in your user interface. Yeah,
I can give you a verbal. I'll give you a verbal teaser on a feature we have coming up, which is we have a radical new approach to data set transformations and data prep that is going to make it much easier than you've ever seen before. And it's hopefully launching in November. And it's going to be shocking, mind-blowingly easy to start doing transformations on your data set without writing SQL. I'm really excited about that feature, so stay tuned for that one. That one's really going to change the game at the front end of the stack. Over time, we're also working a bunch on model operations, automatic retraining, drift detection, even so far as taking like a classification model and like tracking how it's changing over time, turning it into a time series dashboard. Yeah. So lots of and lots of work going on in time series too. Time-driven models are one of the areas where there's a lot of value to be gleaned from machine learning, and they're even harder. And so our time series feature we've been working on for a long time, and it's pretty exciting. So those are some of the interesting areas we're actively pushing on, but I'm most excited about this data prep feature. I think it's really cool. So if you check back in a month or two, we may even launch it on Product Hunt as well. Just as a feature, I think it's pretty cool.
Very cool. We will promote it in the community. So basically, seems like you started with the machine learning engine, and then obviously you need to feed data to the machine learning. So you need it very well prepared, and you are taking that to the next level. That's the feature that is coming. But then also when you put models into production, you're getting more and more models into production. You are getting requirements on explainability, drift detection, more like model ops kind of features, and you are evolving that part of the workflow as well. Very exciting.
That's right. Yeah. We have to do the end-to-end pipeline, and we have to make all of that easy and easy to understand. So lots of work still to be done, but exciting progress.
Cool. Hey, Jon, I don't have anything else. I love everyone in the community to try your product. I think you're doing something really exciting and excellent, and I just want to keep tracking all your progress and maybe have you in some time and get an update on how things are going.
That'd be great. And as the community tries it, if you have feedback or you run into problems, please do tell us, because that's how we fix them. And we're here and listening. So don't be afraid to click the chat box or send an email, however you like. We'll be very responsive. We love feedback.
Awesome. Thank you so much, Jan.
All right. Thanks a lot. Take care.
Bye.